It's the year 1450 in England, and a poor boy named Thomas is hungry. His family survives on luck and faith in God. However, on November 2nd, All Souls' Day will be celebrated, and Thomas has a master plan to fill his stomach. He's going out to use the most powerful tool invented by humans: religious guilt. After the church had their brilliant marketing idea to plop its own holidays right on top of the pagan festival of Samhain, a 3-day event was created: All Hallows' Eve, All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day. On November 2nd, All Souls' Day, the primary objective was to pray for the souls of your dead relatives who were, let's say, stuck in Purgatory, which was basically God's waiting room.
Excuse me, is this it?
Purgatory. Welcome to the eternal waiting room. Take a number. You'll be here a while.
But the sign says they're only serving number 420.
Yep. Settle in, sweetheart. I'm number 80,085. Been here since the plague. The first one.
Number 420. Please proceed to the pearly gates. Oh, wait, hold on. Looks like we have a misplaced file. Never mind. We'll circle back to you in a century or so.
Every time.
Isn't there any way to speed this up? I can't listen to this music for 1,000 years.
Depends. Got anyone down there who still remembers you? A prayer? A good word from the living? It's like a celestial fast pass. Moves your file up the stack.
Bartholomew, number 80,085. A soul cake prayer voucher has just been redeemed in your name. Please proceed to the slightly expedited line.
Ha! Knew my nephew wouldn't forget me. Haha, that's my boy. See you in a millennium or two, Agnes. Don't take any wooden nickels.
These were the souls who weren't bad enough for the fiery basement apartment downstairs, but they weren't yet cleared for entry into the VIP lounge upstairs. But you could speed up their commute with prayer. The more prayers, the faster the soul got through the gates. But what if you were a busy, important lord of the manor? You have lands to lord over, peasants to peasant at. You don't have time to spend all day praying for great Uncle Bartholomew, who probably deserved to be there for cheating at cards. What do? You outsource. Of course. This led to a practice called souling. The poor, often children like Thomas, would go door to door to the homes of the wealthy. They would offer a simple, effective service. We will say a prayer for the souls of your dearly departed, and in exchange, you give us a token of your appreciation. And the payment for this spiritual service? A soul cake. A small, round cake, often spiced with nutmeg or cinnamon, and sometimes marked with a cross. It wasn't delicious or decadent, but it fed the poor, and great Uncle Bartholomew would get his file moved one step closer to the front of the divine desk. A win-win. Now, up in Scotland and Ireland, they saw this tradition and thought, we can do better. They took the concept and gave it a bit more theatrical flair. Their version was called Guising, short for disguising. The kids still went door to door, but now they were back in costume, just like their Celtic ancestors did during Samhain. And here's the game-changing difference. They had to work for their treat. You had to have talent. You couldn't just mumble trick or treat from behind a sweaty plastic mask and hold out a pillowcase. Oh no. This was a performance review at every single doorstep. You had to perform a trick, sing a song, recite a poem, tell a joke, do a little dance. The better the performance, the better the treat. An apple, some nuts, maybe even a coin if you absolutely crushed your musical number. This tradition continued for centuries in Scotland and Ireland, becoming a core part of their Halloween culture. And then came the disaster that would change everything: the Great Irish Famine. Between 1845 and 1852, the potato famine devastated Ireland. Millions of Irish and Scottish immigrants fled across the Atlantic to America, bringing their traditions with them. Unfortunately, Americans interpreted these traditions in the most chaotic way possible. By the late 19th century through 1930, every October 31st, American streets turned into a kind of battlefield. Teenagers interpreted the trick part as playing pranks. You know, the usual, like stealing doors, soaping windows, or tipping outhouses with people inside. By the 1930s and 40s, towns across America had had enough. They needed a way to stop the annual tide of youthful vandalism. So, they came up with a genius plan. A bribe. A massive, nationwide, sugar-based bribe. Town leaders, parents, and local businesses essentially made a deal with the children of America. Listen, kids. How about we give you a literal mountain of candy if you just promise to stop stealing our garden gnomes and putting our cows on the school roof? They organized parades, parties, and promoted a safe, supervised, door-to-door tradition. They called it trick-or-treating to give the little hellions a clear choice: ask for a treat or perform a trick. And let's be honest, the treat is way easier. Then, in the 1950s, the candy companies saw their golden opportunity. The post-war baby boom meant millions of new customers. They flooded the market with affordable, individually wrapped candies, and even invented the fun size bar, which, as everyone knows, is a bold-faced marketing lie. There is nothing fun about a smaller piece of chocolate, but that's how they sealed the deal. They bought off the pranksters with pure, unadulterated sugar. So there you have it. That's how an ancient ritual of the soul transformed into a nationwide shakedown for high fructose corn syrup. But the word trick still has one more story to tell, a much older one. Tomorrow, we'll dive into a legend about the one man who was so tricky he even fooled the devil himself, and ended up with a rather famous lantern for his troubles.